Hi, my name is Sophal Pettit, and you are listening to the Millennial Wealth Builders.
Co-hosted by Acquania Escarne, the host of The Purpose of Money, and Danielle Desir, the host of The Thought Card, Millennial Wealth Builders series is where we share the stories of women of color building wealth.
But this isn't your ordinary interview-based show. Throughout the series, you'll be hearing from women who are creatively
secure in the bag,
stacking coins. You know what we mean. Sophal Pettit was a young child when the Pol Pot Revolution happened in Cambodia. Sophal and her family are survivors of a time called the Killing Fields of Cambodia. They came to the United States with nothing but their lives. At age 14, Sophal was enrolled in a school for the first time, not understanding or even knowing how to speak a word of English. She navigated her way through school and to being a successful adult. Sophal in this episode shares her stories from the beginning with the normal everyday life she experienced as a child to the isolation and unspeakable death tolls and devastation that she experienced as she tried to survive the killing fields of Cambodia. When her family finally escaped to the United States, thanks to the UN camps and subsequent sponsorship to America, she was finally able to see a better opportunity for her and her family. Sophal's touching story will grip you as she talks about the struggles of adapting to life in the United States, as well as her journey of discovering herself after surviving such a tragic event. We hope that this story inspires you and helps you understand that you can overcome trials that life may dish. But we also want to warn you that the details of her story are very gripping, sad, and emotionally difficult to hear. So you may want to prepare yourself for the realities that she experienced as a child during a regime. This is Sophal Pettit's story.
So I was born and raised in Cambodia, and the capital of Cambodia is called Phnom Penh. And when I was about 5 years old, was the last memory that I had was very happy memory. Remember, have tons of shoes, different color. Aunt and uncle bought those for me because I was the only firstborn and the only child in the family. And then after that, my next memory was just that happy memory just disappeared overnight. And then I woke up in the countryside. I remember riding the train with lots of people and up in the countryside where my other grandfather, he's a farmer, and stayed there for a few months and really almost like a hidden quiet place. Because my family on my mom's side come from a very high rank military background, and my grandmom chose to go back to live with my youngest aunt, and they all got killed in Cambodia. Going forward from there, we have to leave my grandfather location because now my grandfather got scared that they might know where my mom coming from. So now we have to escape to a new location. And that new location, I wasn't sure what it called. It's located around near Bat Dambong. Bat Dambong is another big town city in Cambodia that's closer to Thailand. So nobody know us there. And we were just integrating and working hard. At one point, they questioned my mom because she have lighter skin color. They said, why is you a lighter skin? Are you a teacher? Are you, rich? Are you, whatever that they asked to get answer from her. And she said, Oh, the reason why she's white is because she's stay inside sewing clothes for people. She never got a chance to go outside. That's why she was white. She never be out in the sun. Then they said, then why you should sew their hats, those big hats that you see a lot of Asian people wear in the country working out in the rice field. My mom sewed those hats. And so she would end up sewing hats for them. And that's how she was able to survive. And then left me, my brother and I at home at the shack, the little shack. I mean, we don't have any bedding or anything, just the dirt floor. And we only have our clothes on our back, and that's it. For us to have, shower or anything like that, we have to run out in the rain to get shower. And my brother, we just tried to be happy and waiting for our parents to come home. But later on, I found out that my parents are in two separate camps. My mom in one camp and my dad in a different camp. So they asked the same question, but in separate camp. And somehow the answer was the same. That's how they were able to live. While they were in the camp, my brother and I, at that time, I'm probably about 7 years old, and my brother, he's 3 years younger than me. So, he's in his 4 or 5 years old. We have to learn how to survive and, finding food. And every day our food getting smaller and lesser and, in the community, everything that we do, we have to put it in the community home. So they're the one who give us food. We don't decide that. And our food is just basically is rice portrait, and sometimes it's a lot more water than just rice. Through that process, I learned how to pick berries that are maybe good or not good for our body. I don't know, but I know it's edible. And the reason why I know it's edible is any bird or any animal eat, I would eat it. I said, if the animal eat it and the animal not die, I eat it. When something going around in my life that I felt is so hard in America, at that moment, I look back in Cambodia, I'm like, there's nothing compared to that. So passing forward, we escaped in 79, so I was walking towards Thailand. And my mom said, no matter what, we're going to go toward other country to get help. We're not going to stay in Cambodia. But during that time, I overheard my dad said, I want to stay. He wanted to stay in Cambodia. But my mom said, nope, we're not going to stay in Cambodia. So I'm going to struggle to leave Cambodia even if I die. And so on the way to Thailand, she got pregnant. Already she was 9 months pregnant and delivered a baby under the mango tree. And it happened to be twins. And they have absolutely nothing. This is, and if you're looking at the necessity of pregnant women in America, what they need, well, my mom didn't have anything. And she had a midwife that come over and cut the umbilical cord and things like that. My dad had to rip his shirt in half, one for each baby, wrap them, and that's all they have. And then I was having a little kettle that I, making water, boiling water before we can drink it, because that's another thing we learned through hardship. We learned that if you don't boil water, it's contaminated water. You won't be able to drink it. It would hurt your belly. So we learned how to boil water, and I'm not sure if anybody else do the same, but from my family, because my mom had some education in the university before the war. So she learned a lot about nursing, being a nurse, being how to be clean and, what it needs to be clean when it comes to contamination. So with that knowledge, she helped us a lot during that process. But staying under the mango tree, my dad left us there for 3 months. Now, it looks like he left us for 3 months, but he got captured for 3 months. when he left to go find us food, he got captured. And we didn't know his story, why he got captured until until he came back. But during that 3 months, it was the hardest 3 months I ever. Sometimes when I get scared, I get anxious about my life today. I would get bad nightmare reflect back to that time, because I had to go and dig dead people to find gold so that I can trade it for food. In that moment, I discovered how gold and, important gold is to, to trade for food, because they don't have any money exchange hand. They weigh gold exchange for food. And I went and asked people, how can I get some, food from them? If I could work for them, they won't allow me to work because, there's no job during that time. So that's the reason why I went and dig dead people, because there's a big pit hole of dead people all around. And the grave is very shallow. When it rains, you can almost see the bones stick out, the hands stick out, the head stick out, everything. So I figured that when they kill these people, the jewelry and everything they wear is on themselves. And, I said, I have to go get those gold, even though it scared me so much. I still, have to dig, because my mom need to live and feed the twin that just born and my brother. So while I was digging, the smell, I just couldn't. I remember the smell was so bad and I'm scared to death. And then I was just talking in my head at that time. Probably, I don't know if I talk it out loud, but in my head, I know I say, if I wish I can find something for my mom. And the next thing I know, I turned around, I found this big ruby that just shined like really bright on my, at my face, like, wow. So I got the ruby and went to the market and traded that ruby. It's so bright. I mean, that ruby is so bright that nowadays they call it ruby diamond, so bright, despite of everything around like dark too, and it still shine, and so I trade that for 10 cup of rice. That's all I got, 10 cup of rice. And that's to keep us surviving every day. And at that time, the Vietnam soldier they fighting in, they keep coming in to help killing the Pol Pot out of Cambodia, to take back Cambodia. And I'm not sure what their political issue is. I was too young to know that. But I know that there are Vietnamese soldier coming in. Fortunately, my mom also speaks Vietnamese. She speaks 3 languages. She speaks French, Vietnamese, and Cambodia very well. And so she's, talk to them and tell them her story. And the soldier keep coming, buy some food here and there. And that, again, I don't have to go out and beg for food, because they keep bringing food to, for us on that mango tree. 3 months later, my dad showed up, and then again, he shared with us his side of the story. It was the most horrific story. But, going forward, we take our family and then all the rest of the people that follow us. My dad are very generous. When he came back, he got a lot of food that he traded, and he sell water on the way to the tourists. And he bought all those packaging food and bring it back to us, and he gave it to everybody around us. And I remember at one time, like, Dad, why don't you save some for us so we can move forward with that? He go, don't worry, we're gonna have enough. So when he said that, I'm like, wow, even as little that we have, he still give to other people around him. And then I know now, reflecting back, why he does all of that. They help us, especially when we have to cross the water to Thailand. I was so, I mean, I'm so fragile and thin, but again, he didn't, if nobody hold my hand, the current of water would take me away. But because all those people follow him to, my mom and dad to Thailand, they help us. They help all the kids, like carry, take our hand and just drag us along. And then that's how we crossed the water to Thailand. In Thailand camp, the UN set up, everything in there. And that's when we first, found out that we can apply to go to America or Paris or France. Even though my mom can speak French, but she chose to come to America because America is she said it's more free for the kids to make decisions. Nobody dictate them what to do, take away their right. So that's why she fought to come to America. She said America is better for the kids, even though they struggle to fight for themselves, but they're going to learn so much more. And she always choose the place that are hard for us, especially when we're supposed to stay in California, Long Beach. It would be easier for our lives to be there because we have a group of people that we know and we speak similar language we can assimilate with. No, my mom said then I'd be too comfortable to be at that stage. So she moved us to Pennsylvania, the coldest place on earth. Our sponsor have to rent us a home near the railroad track. And every 5 o'clock, the train come by, and it just shake everything up. But here, the funny story is that we have 2 bedrooms that we could share. But somehow we end all our 7 of us stay right in one room. We never touch another room. We were just so grateful. Like when we found the spoon and the bed to lay on, everything that we have, we were just so grateful. Like, everything just seemed big for us, like just even the house. When I go back and look at that house now, I'm like, that's a tiny home. But it was so big for us back then, we was just grateful that we were there. Well, then speaking English, again, you're in the mid of all the town, I would say all Caucasian. I don't see any other color except me at that time, It was hard. It's not something that I wish for any kids have to go through. But at the same time, they build who I am today. They help build who I am today. And I'm grateful. I didn't know it at that time, but at the same time, I felt like because of that, I learned how to fight for myself. I don't allow, them to bring their hatred towards me. I look at them and I smile at them and and I'm friendly to them no matter what they do. And my parents, the same way, I'm struggling to get them out of that neighborhood right now. They still want to be the same place. The little home that we purchased because nobody rented us the home to us anymore because the home was, our landlord said he don't have money to fix the home anymore because the people keep throwing rocks at the window and putting dirty water at the door so that when my dad walked out, it would drop on his head. Would drop on our heads. And that happened several times. We were so afraid to call the landlord, so we have to use the cardboard. And snow up in Pennsylvania, wintertime, the snow is not very friendly to us. It was very cold. But, one thing that I know my parents always, and for us, we always grateful where we at, no matter what happened to us. And somewhere, somehow, we build resilience through all of those obstacles. And that's led me to, to do whatever it takes to work 2 or 3 jobs if I have to. And, just to get away from all that environment and have the mindset that I can do if I'm able to breathe, I can do anything anything that our God putting on this earth to do. And so that was my mindset. I was like, I'm not afraid, I'm not scared, like I should have been dead already several times in Cambodia. But here I am living and breathing. So I didn't focus on, what was happening to me at the time. I was focusing, how can I speak English better? Even though I didn't have a chance to start learning English until I was 14, because that's when I came to America. And it's the hardest one because English is not something that is easy for me. Because where I came from, my word is only one word. We don't have past tense, present tense, all these plural, all these word that add on to there or sound the same, but it mean differently. We don't have that kind of word, and so English was like the hardest for me when you don't start out in kindergarten. And so my sibling, they're very blessed. They have a chance to go from kindergarten all the way to university. They graduate and, they speak English very well. And so a lot of time, I think I felt like I'm good enough from that standpoint. Like, wow, how come every time, the more I try to speak English better, the more I fail it. Like, because my sibling would make fun of how I speak my, how I say thing and how I address thing. And where I came from, I'm trying to translate from what I understand to how I address it. Them, we have a gap of disconnect, because my sibling are 10 and 12 years younger than me. And you're talking about that gap, it's a big gap. Sometimes they don't understand like who I am, and I don't understand who they are, because they're millennial and I'm, not a generation a generation X, and so it's hard to connect with them. Now, when I met Charles to do the financial side, is because I was so driven. Like, I was studying to be an accountant at that time, and that's part time. I work and then go to school at the same time because I have kids. It's not that I enjoy having kids and then go to school. It just happened to, got married early, and that's another story to talk about. Asian culture, especially if you're the oldest one, you want to be the one that set example for your sibling, and your responsibility is to take care of them, and take care of all their needs. And I'm caught between American culture and the Asian culture. I was torn between the two when I was in my teen, especially in my 18, 19. Now I become more aware. I can speak English better. So the more I know, the more it's almost like you have war in your head. Sometimes ignorant is bliss. And it's so true with that statement. Because the more I know, the more I became like, unhappy with what I have. And I'm continuing to work harder and want more. And then I got married early because my culture is that, your parent arranged for you. And the way they arrange for you is that the guys have to be the one who have enough money to support you and have good career and all that stuff. So women absolutely mean nothing. You can't do anything. So I went the opposite of what they want. I basically did a 360 180 on them. So the opposite. I did a 180 and I go against them. I said no to all the marriage arrangement that come and ask me when I was 19 years old. And I got married to the guy that I choose, who I thought was good for me. But at the time, I didn't know anything. You know, you only know what you know. And so our marriage was kind of forced into a place where we needed to be together. We were not ready to be married. We're both too young. And that was another problem that escalate in my relationship and problem in life that I shouldn't be having. But because of that decision, I add that major problem into my life. And from that marriage, I had two, kids with him. And now my son is 29 and my daughter, Elizabeth, 26. And, at the same time, while I have raising those children, I went to school and worked at Blue Cross Blue Shield at the same time. While I was working at Blue Cross Blue Shield, I put myself to school to finish my degree in finance and accounting. So that's how I wanted to, better my life and help my family out. So when I met Charles, I was working 3 jobs because I want to make money. I know that we don't start with money. So that was my mindset. That's how I run into Charles. And I was just there with my 2 little kids running around while I'm trying to hear his presentation. And then I left it like that because I wanted to know how money works so bad. You know, if I know how money works, then I know it will change my life. As we all know, money runs through the fabric of all human life, of everything that we do. Money run into that. So for me, I just wanted to know how is the money work? And then when he comes to meet with me after that presentation, I have purchased life insurance through the company called Prime America. At that time, Prime America was big. They go around selling life insurance, selling mutual fund. So I wanted to buy a mutual fund. You know, I don't know what mutual fund is, really. I didn't even know what it is. At that time, Charles kept joking around, mutual fund when you get together and having fun. And that's all mutual funds. And then I thought, that was really it, mutual fund. So I bought mutual fund and from Prime America, and I didn't realize the fees that they charge in that fund. You see, when you don't know, it could be good and also very bad for you. You have to choose how to be. So that's a big lesson when it comes to investing. And then after that, I hate any kind of investing. So I went straight to learn about life insurance product. You know, when you don't know, sometimes it's good for you, and then sometimes it's very bad for you, especially when it comes to companies that you deal with. Now we know a lot more, and we have to make a decision to stay with that company after 12 years of working day and night or leave. And the first things that happened in 2001 was really bad. It was the .com crash. And during that crash, it really impacted how I was thinking about money and how I was thinking about the whole industry, in the financial industry overall, how crooked they are. You know, it's just like overnight you could lose, everything. We just build a new house and we have to sell that home very quickly. And we have to revamp everything that we do. And, we still believe in the business. But then in 2008, that's when it hit another crash. That was the mortgage crash. At that time, we have a mortgage broker license, and we have about 200 loan officers working with us. And again, when the bank, when they go bankrupt, they take all our profit and loss with them, that we put a hold in them to pay our loan officer. So that's another crash that we, we get hurt really bad when it comes to financial industry. So, again, that's come from a place when you don't know. And, when you know about certain thing and you go about to doing it and you don't have the right structure to do it and you don't have the right information, you're putting all your eggs in one basket and you lose it all. We experienced all of that loss because it hit us big time. And that's my experience in the financial industry. And then, we decided to just redo everything all over from scratch. Start with a new company because of our track record with a previous company. We get really good, contract with new companies, and we go directly to wholesaler and deal, it's just two of us. And we somehow, everybody continue to believe in our choice, in our direction and where we go. And we build a really nice team from there and continue to grow ever since, and taking all that choice and bad experience that we got to, to put a shield to it on that we don't have to be like that again, So now we got all these knowledge that we accumulate for the past 25 plus year to put in front of us of what we have today, and still continue learning and growing and continue to put ourselves with great people, and learn from them and grow from that. And that's on my business side, on my journey to why money is so important to everyone, no matter how old they are and where they at and who they are. And they need to know that money is not it's not something that make them happy. Money is just the tool that help them to be whatever they want to be, And if you can discern from that money is just a tool, then you're not afraid of money anymore. You're not so like driven to find money, because it's gonna be there. But but only if you're willing to search for it and you're willing to step out of your own self to find that. And that's what we did. We always step out. We always expand our circle. Where can we go and find people who can help us? Where can we go to learn from the people who are successful? And that's our journey. We in our business side, we're always improving, always growing, always getting a coach to help us.
What do you think is the greatest challenge to getting your finances in order?
Greatest challenge is their habits. They have to be willing to change their habits. And if they're not willing to sit down and admit that they have problems, then we cannot help them. And that's the greatest challenge, is for people to own up to what they have been doing is not good for them all along, and leaving them with their own devices, it's going to only lead to destruction. So is the biggest challenge.
Do you think that people need help with their finances? Is it something they can navigate on their own?
I think every one of us need help with our finances. We always need a third party to come in and look at, what we have and what we don't have, and what is the best plan and how we can restructure our life, and people should always do that before they have any big problem come up. And most people, when they look for help, is when they already have problem. And that's why it's harder to change that habits, because people don't want to hear that they have a problem. They just want to hear that everything in their life that they're doing is somebody else's problem, not them. But even me, I still have coach. I need a coach to tell me every single day. We have coaching call every Monday, and we have coaching call, one-on-one coaching call. I'm paying a lot of money for my coach to get coaching, and I don't mind, because I know that if it leads to my own device, I become very destructive, and I can't help anybody if I'm destructive.
So tell us a little bit about your current business and ways that you're helping others build wealth.
Who we are, why we exist, to create the life that you love. I love that, because that's exactly what I feel in my heart. It's like, I really want you, Danielle, to have the life you love. Because you know why? If you have the life you love, you make the whole world around you better. And then I don't have to go out and spread so many, because if I can get 10 of you to get the life you love, your world is so much better. Your world create that peace that you love, because who want to bring destructive into their life? No, right? So if you can make the life that you love, I would say the whole world gonna be ripple effect from that. And so that's why we create and we rebrand our company to that, why we exist. Charles and I were first born. We never got anything given to us. We create everything that happened to us. And what we have today is all from what we created through the grace of God wrapped around that, and all purely from, our intention is really good, but through a lot of mistakes. Our company give out books like The Power of Zero. That's the books that is easy to read and easy to understand. And now we create a class called Financial Foundation, and I encourage anybody to go to class. When you read books, it's not necessary that you're not going to know what to do from books, but it's not as clear. When you go to a class that, like our company, that giving out to people for free, this is 16 hours of hard work and of all intellectual property for the last 25 years, wrapping around into 8 class session and give it to you for free. And if anybody who willing to put themselves intentionally and go through the class, they will come out no more than than any financial advisor out there, knowing what to do with their own home and how to plan for that, and how to structure the home, their own life with that. And and you absolutely need a coach. You cannot do this without a coach. Even if you know that you're smart at this, at finance, at number, and all of that, you still need a coach. You need a coach to guide you to live to the fullest of what you made from your own finance, your own money. Not because it's, you need a coach to tell you what to do, but to help shed the light of what you already know, but allow you to see more. You cannot see with your own circle. You have to see a bigger circle of that.
What should we look for in a financial coach? What qualities?
That's a good question. For me, I look for people who have a good heart, number one. Not so much of what's in their head, but what's in their heart. And that lead to next question is why they got into that position where they at. So you want to ask your coach, why do you, wanting to do what you're doing? Why do you become a financial coach? What made you to become a financial coach? Then you really know where their heart is at. Because if they don't love what they do, they come to become a financial coach just because they want to make money or more money, and because that industry make more money, then it's the wrong place to be, to choose that kind of coach. You want a coach that love what they do and willing to walk through, through all the process with you, holding your hand, and be patient enough to listen to all the things that going on in your head and help you to see what you don't see on the way there.
What do you want to be remembered for?
A good mom, a good friend, a good wife, to my husband, a good business partner to him, and that I don't give up on people. And even when it's hard, I don't give up.